Morning, everyone. Hopefully everybody had a safe Thanksgiving. Just a few things today as we continue to plod along here with getting back to Friday town halls. So just to keep everybody informed of the numbers that we're dealing with right now, and let these be a reminder of the reality of what's happening in both the greater community and here in your communities at Gate Circle, both here at Gate Circle and in Williamsville. So as of today, there are five independent living residents who are COVID positive. That's up 2 more since Wednesday. And they're not all related to the same event. So, keep that in mind. Different non-residents who, didn't intersect with each other have gotten infected. So that's 4 here in Williamsville and 1 at Gate Circle. And then as of today, we still have 4 residents that are in skilled nursing. Actually, 2 of the 4 are still in skilled nursing. The other 2 are in other places, but 4 total residents from skilled nursing have been tested as COVID positive. So, those are the stark and real numbers of what's going on. If you do the math, and Western New York has a positivity rate, depending upon the townships, of anywhere from 5 to 12%. And around us in Amherst and Lancaster, it's 9 to 12%. So if you do the math, then if 9 to 12% of the population that are being tested are coming back, then it's reflected here as well. As of right now, this morning, we have approximately 15 staff members that are out, that have tested positive for COVID and are not working. Some of them will be coming back soon because they will have gone through their 14 days. But as I stand here today, there's 15 staff members, which is up from 11 from just Wednesday. And these are staff members that most of them had no symptoms. Most of them are being regularly, as part of the regular testing that we do. For healthcare staff members, it's twice a week. For many staff members, it's once a week. And as part of that ongoing testing, which shows you the value of the testing that we do, we are randomly finding people that are testing, or that are testing positive. So 15 at this point. And again, as with any time, whether it's a staff member or resident that tests positive, we do multiple layers of contact tracing. I always get, every time I relay the numbers, I always get questions about, well, did you test the housekeepers that come to Lexington? Did you test the maintenance? Yeah, and the simple answer is yes. If you are a resident or family member and you don't get a call from us that you need to be tested, or you're part of our contact trace group, then you aren't. Doesn't mean that you haven't been exposed in another way based upon the community spread, but it just means that through our contact tracing, we feel like there's been no exposure to you. I touched upon this topic in pretty good detail on Wednesday, but I'm going to keep talking about it. And it really is the question of, on the independent side, if you test positive for COVID, what happens? As I said on Wednesday, if you test positive for COVID, it's the same from Canterbury's perspective as from an independent resident. It's the same as if you test positive or you get the flu, or you have an acute illness, or you have an operation you have to go to the hospital. Canterbury Woods does not, on the independent side, Canterbury Woods does not have staff, does not have aides, does not have nurses to specifically take care of someone that tests positive for COVID. So what we do with any illness, including COVID, is work with you and work with your family to set up care. Obviously, COVID is, that's the difference maker, because the challenge is going to be is if you have AIDS at the time you test positive, then if those aides are employees of Canterbury Woods, meaning that they work for Canterbury Woods, but they're also doing some work for you privately, they have to stop working for you privately. Because they're also working for Canterbury Woods doing other things, and we can't have cross-contamination going on. So they would be done. Excuse me. If you have other aides or nurses working with you at the time that you test positive, and they're not Canterbury Woods employees, meaning they're from agencies and so on, it would really be up to that agency or them specifically if they want to continue to care for you. They can certainly do that while you're positive. Maybe they've already gone through the disease. Maybe they've already recovered and feel like they can do that, and that's fine. But that's their choice, or the agency's choice. But what would happen is they would only be able to care for you, and then would have to quarantine after you went through the illness and then tested negative. They would have to continue to quarantine you or just care for you for another 10 to 14 days. And so, therein lies the challenge if they need to individually make money providing care for other people. So there's no perfect scenario. That's why we're encouraging all independent residents to think about what their plan would be and talk to your family members. If you test positive for COVID, how would you be cared for? Do you have close by family? Would they be involved in that care? We've talked about this, but it's become more of an acute discussion, so please have those discussions with your family members. If you have questions for myself or Don Wilkes, we'll be happy to work with you, talk with you, explain this in greater detail, go through all of the idiosyncrasies behind care options. The other big issue is no visitor antigen testing past this weekend. So as we have for a couple of months now, since we've had antigen testing, we've been letting visitors come in and stay in apartments and for independent living for 48 hours at a time to get retested, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to suspend that going into December, and I'll revisit it in a couple weeks. So, I know obviously that now Christmas is coming up, and let's see what happens in our community. Hopefully we can stem the tide of what's going on right now with some of the community spread that we're seeing here in Canterbury Woods, and we can open that back up again. Folks, there's no perfect scenario here. It's a numbers game. So, the questions are, well, I come in and I test negative. Why wouldn't I be able to come in? And you keep in mind, these tests are about 85% accurate. We're giving you a 48-hour window. That doesn't mean that once you get the test that you're not going to be positive the next day, based upon viral loads and so on. We really try to work within the realities of the antigen test and the need for people to come in and see their loved ones in the last several months, and try to be as flexible as we possibly can and push the envelope as much as we saw fit to be safe. But with the massive community spread of this virus in Western New York and the uptick in spread here at Canterbury Woods, we're going to take a very conservative route here for the next several weeks. And both here at Gates Circle, we're not going to be doing any antigen testing for visitors that want to come in. So effectively, no visitors will be allowed to come in and spend time in the buildings. That does not mean, we can still come up, pick up your loved ones, pick up the residents, take them off campus, bring them back, take them to appointments, whatever. We can't stop that. There's no way. And residents obviously that have cars can drive on and off as they see fit. Can't shackle them as much as I'd like to. Sometimes I can't shackle them to their independent living apartments. They can come and go as they please. But again, it's a numbers game, and we're just trying to do all we can to lower the amount of contacts. So it's really just as simple as that. So again, if you have any questions, rwallace@echa.org, and I will do my best to answer your questions.